Wow. See how long you stay awake tonight? Oh, by God, you're staying awake for the whole journey. Because that's how long the Paranormal Portal takes. Hope you guys are doing great. Hello, everybody. Great to see you. Great to hear you. How you hearing me? Are you hearing me okay? Because I am jacked up, but the volume bar looks a little low. But let me know if you're having trouble hearing me. I'm still trying to dial this in, but I think we're okay. Let me know. Let me know. Who's Drake? Drake who? Drake who? I'm looking for Drake. I see the name Drake popping up. And I'm like, who is Drake? But I don't know. Looking, but I don't know. I'm just seeing. Okay, I'm seeing. Let's see who is here. So far on YouTube, it is me, Annie Manul, Chucky Danger. Rachel gets it right. Tommy Cooper's in the house. And I'm scrolling here. Got a lot of Grateful Owls here. How you doing? Wonderful to see you. Just going through, and Maggie M10 popped in. Good to see you. And Aussie Tiprat is here. Great to see you as well. Got all of Oz represented, at least a good portion of you guys. So good. Good to have you here. Chucky Danger, I said. Let's see. Going down, Drake, number one. You are number one, Drake. In my book, you're the number one Drake in our entire chat, but great to see you. Thank you so much for coming in and checking out the show as we dive into it. Isaac Ariola's here. Good to see you, Isaac. Say hello to Kirsten for me and give her our love as well. Elaine Clifford, Batman are here. John Stevenson is here as I'm scrolling. This is I'm doing it on the fly, just scrolling through chat. And the problem is chat keeps going faster than I'm scrolling as I'm reading, but I'm going as fast as I can. Just to name a few. Of course, you guys are chatting like machines in there, which is awesome. That's the one thing that's always cool about this show is the community we have. John, I like that picture, man. You're looking pretty dapper, by the way. And wonderful to see you. Elaine says she's totally not here. So, okay, well, someone's here. And your keyboard might be haunted if that's the case. By the way, if you guys didn't see, check out my social media because I posted a picture of my keyboard and I've actually worn through the color on several of the keys. So you can't even read the key, and the space bar is a big white. Hardwick's in here. How you doing, Hardwick? Good to see you, brother. Barbara Mora is in. She's in Rumble and in YouTube. And I'm sure Gypsy's probably out there somewhere. And love to all of you guys. I know my cousin Paul's out there in Tennessee checking us out on the Rumble side of things too. Great to see you, brother. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for the love and support that you continue to bring to every episode of the Portal, because you make me feel special, and that's the big takeaway. I feel special just because you guys are here. It gives me purpose and meaning, which is always important, because I need meaning in my life, and you all are the wind beneath my wings, and thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right, we've already passed 100 messages according to Restream. You guys are chatting like machines. That's awesome. Keep it going. It's midday, if that's what you mean, Annie. Oh, yeah, that's right. Maggie, your day is our night. Our night is your day. That's kind of how it works when you're on the other side of the ball. But hope things are wonderful on the other side of the ball for all of you over in Oz. And if you're in New Zealand, Kitty Cattywack came in. I'm in Twitch. Has an update. I'm waiting for its update before I pop over there. Oh, thank you, Kitty. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. We don't get a lot of traction, if any, over on Twitch yet. I don't know what it takes, but I'm going to continue streaming there because, maybe more people will check it out. Maybe, something like Mr. Beast will pop in and go, hell yeah, one viewer. Let's, give you some love. So I'm just rolling those Mr. Beast dice, see what happens. But no, I like Twitch. I think Twitch is a great platform. It's just kind of tough to get noticed over there. I don't really put a lot of work into it other than just saying, we're here, but maybe someday people will start paying attention. But in any case, I'll keep doing it because, by God, I love the idea that we're streaming as many places as we can. I'm still looking at other platforms, like even Facebook. I haven't implemented that yet, but that's on the to-do list. So are you guys hearing me okay? I didn't see any feedback about that. That's how you know it ain't flat. Amen, Elaine. I think it's pretty rounded. But I'm in Rumble, but it doesn't scroll if I write something. Maybe it's me. I just don't think there's enough going on Rumble right now for the chat to scroll. But I don't know. We'll see. Sound is great, Maggie says. Okay, slightly tinny. Oh, really? Hey, Drake. Drake's saying hi to me. Fist bump, bro fist, like PewDiePie says. Excuse me. Maybe with a DJ with Twitch. Yeah, maybe. Hardwick remembered. Thank you for picking up another round of the membership in the Paranormal Portal Club on YouTube. I appreciate that a bunch. Hold on. Should not inhale water when I drink it. Doesn't work out as well. There's Gypsy. Great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Goes up and down from a bit tinny. That's weird because shouldn't. Everything should be solid. I've invested a lot of love and time and energy, and in my ears, it sounds good. Maybe my voice is just thin. Yeah, I'm just not meant to breathe water. As it turns out, I guess I lost that at some point when I worked out the fins, got rid of the fins and flippers and got the fingers and stuff. That's probably when I should have quit trying to breathe water, but every once in a while I give it a whirl. It's not a good thing. But anyway, welcome to the show. It's Wednesday, which is hump day. Hump day, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a full hump day extravaganza. I got to turn on the ghost stuff, don't I? It is the 18th today, so let's turn on the Doppler radar for spirit energy and just find out what's going on here. So it is September 18th, 2024. The ghost radar is now on. We'll find out if anybody's visiting. Whack job Wednesday. Well, it depends. It might be that too. Somebody gifting memberships. Gifted Batman. Thank you, brother. Spreading the love. Bringing more people into the fold. God bless you. That goes a long way in helping us out. Marcus Aurelius, good to see you, man. I missed you. Wow, that's a name from the past. I haven't seen you forever, man. Great. Thanks for coming in and being a part of the journey as always. That's awesome. So it is at my job. Yeah. No, I know. Well, yeah. I guess it's hump day though. It's like you're on the way to the weekend, so everything's good. It's just me tonight, folks. There's no extra events or people joining us. It is just me and you and the portal as I can bring it to you. So I'm going to do my best to entertain you for the next hour and 45 minutes or whatever's left. But great to see everybody. Oh, jeez. That was like a swallow burp. I'm not even sure how I did that, but after breathing water, I guess I'm full of amazing tricks tonight. Yeah, you are co-hosting always. You guys are always part of my crew. I love that you guys participate in the conversations and, ask questions. And I do my best to see them. I apologize if you're ever asking a question and I don't notice. Unfortunately, I have 3 screens of fun going on in front of me, and usually I'm focused on reading something to you guys, but, that's always a part of the deal. But if I don't notice, please don't let that get you discouraged. Just put it in capital letters and maybe a model point it out to me if they can as well. Unfortunately, usually when I was just streaming exclusively on YouTube, you could do the @ at Paranormal Portal and it would give me a big orange box. But I use this restream chat that's over here, and that combines the YouTube and Twitch chats, and I don't get those notifications. Jesus. Yep. There you go. I think that hopefully is the last of it. But let's jump into our episode tonight. Of course, we're going to be getting into the news. You're a pro, dude. I'm a pro what, Tommy? What am I pro of? I try to be pro, but then I drink and breathe water. Yeah, the Brent coughing show. Yeah, it's either that or lip smacking, so you get all of it here on the portal. But yeah, if you got questions and stuff, as Gypsy said in Twitch, just put them in all caps, then I'll more likely to see them. My Brian is on strike. Or is it your brain? Is it your Brian or your brain, or is your brain named Brian? Absolutely. One or the other. But anyway, my brain's constantly on vacation. Sunfire. What was that? Is that another new name? It says, welcome Sunfire from Chucky. Oh, there we go. It's Sunfire. Sure enough. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in. It's lovely to have you here. Hope you enjoy yourself. Brian, definitely Brian. I got a brother named Brian, and pretty smart guy, actually. So he's pretty much on the ball usually, but if you have a button to mute, it. I do try to mute when I'm doing. Question, Brent, have you interviewed someone that has passed away after you interviewed them? Yeah, I interviewed Linda Godfrey, who was just a wonderful, one of my all-time favorite interviews. I had her on the show a few times, and she still today is one of the favorite interviews I've ever done in my life. She was so warm and kind and wonderful, and I just love talking to Linda Godfrey. And I miss her dearly. Now, I can't say that we were friends, but she was definitely an acquaintance, and I sincerely love that woman. Just absolutely adored her, and it broke my heart when she got ill and passed. So it's one of those sad things. And of course, Carrie Arnold of Bigfoot Odyssey passed away in a car accident, and that was a real personal heartbreak for me, because Carrie was and will always be a friend. And Kev Baker, another one that I love dearly and miss dearly. And those are the big 3 that are jumping out to me right now as I'm thinking, but I'm sure there's been more. And I love every interview I've ever done. It's just such a wonderful experience to have an opportunity to talk to so many individuals about their experiences and about their opinions and about their thoughts about this stuff, because the portal is and always will be first and foremost a discussion about this weird stuff that goes on. I don't, pretend or accept that there are any experts out there, But I love everybody's opinions and their thoughts because it always teaches me something and their experiences. So, yeah. So the correct answer is yeah. Question, Brett. Is there a topic you really want to discuss but never found an expert top researcher in the field? I love talking about all this stuff. I don't think there's a favorite topic that I haven't broached. I would like to do more UFO stuff and try to talk to people like, people like Nick Pope and George Knapp and stuff like that would be amazing to interview them. I did meet both of them at Phenomicon, but, they have pretty incredibly steep schedules. And it's not always easy to wrangle interviews with those kind of people because they're all over the map, and not in a bad way, but in a good way. But it's just tough. But yeah, I'd like to do more of those kind of interviews. They're having a look at their insights and their thoughts and to pick their brain about stuff. But yeah, yep. I like the weird stuff, except flat earthers can't handle much of that. Well, yeah, to each his own. If people want to believe the earth is flat, that's fine. It really doesn't matter to me. To me, the earth is round, but at the end of the day, I still got to pay my bills and take care of my responsibilities. And it doesn't really matter to me what shape they think the place we live is. But I understand it's kind of hard to wrap my head around the flat earth thing, but I don't begrudge people to have that opinion. It's up to you. You could believe we're living on a big scoop of ice cream if you want. I don't care. And just, there are some compelling thoughts to their arguments, but in my mind, they're just, not as scientifically founded. But that's just me. But I love everybody, and I love everybody's opinion. The second my mom walked out the door to outside, I heard an old man's voice say hello, and the other room was alone. Oh, that's pretty intense, Sunfire. Yeah. And maybe it's just a loved one stopping in. Maybe a grandparent or something like, hello, I hope it's a good thing, not a scary thing for you. But yeah, that is creepy. Lon Strickler is one of the guys who has a great collection of the weird stuff, Phantoms and Monsters. Amen, Rachel. Lon is wonderful. Has a bunch of amazing material over there on Phantoms and Monsters, and he's given us his blessing to use his site off the cuff. So could be a chocolate planet, sure. My internet was acting up. Well, glad you're here, Karen. Thank you for coming in. So we got a lot of ground to cover, and I don't know what we'll get to, but I hope we'll have a good journey doing it all the same. Great to meet some of you new listeners. I'm always thrilled to see new names pop up. That's awesome. My Starlink flew off. Well, call Elon and see if he can bring him back. I guess he can drive him around like a bunch of drones up there. I don't know. He seems to be able to steer him wherever he wants him. So, are we buffering? I'm not buffering here. Everything looks green on my end for what it's worth. So if you're buffering, I do apologize, but everything looks great on my end. I got a great connection signal from YouTube. My streaming software says all green, good to go. So I do apologize, but maybe someone's attacking the portal. They just don't want the portal happening. They're probably trying to get us down. You never know. But it won't work because we're multi-streaming. So it's good now. Okay, good. Buffering 2 left and came back. Good. All right. Well, you've been buffering and speed talking. It's interesting. Well, it's probably because all that cough syrup I was drinking. No, I'm just kidding. I don't drink cough syrup. Not regularly anyway. But along with laughing and coughing. Well, there you go. I guess we're all laughing and coughing. So let's do it. Let's get to the news and find out what I have pulled up for your entertainment. Again, it's just you and me tonight, folks. So there's no co-host with me other than all of you. I got a room full of co-hosts, so keep the questions coming if there's something you want to know. There's a Simpsons movie coming out in 2024. Oh, very cool. I love those movies. Those are good. Those are good. All right, cue the disco. It is time. You're right. Elaine, someone asked me the other day, when was the last time I flew? I told them yesterday. I flew off the handle. The next flight, any minute. Regular decaf? I'm always regular. I don't decaf anything. I just give me that rocket fuel. I got to go. And the Ghost Box host. You got it, Annie. It's the MAB. They have that little red button. I'm here to tell you, one of the weirdest episodes I ever did on the Paranormal Portal was back when I was streaming on TFR Live. And it was pretty crazy. It was actually an episode about the the Men in Black. And I'm telling you, we got knocked off the air. Much like the Coast to Coast Legendary show, but it happened. And for 15 minutes, I couldn't connect back. It would not let me connect. I rebooted everything, started everything over. I could not connect back to the host servers. And when I did, they didn't, we got this weird loop. Hey, Justin Good Earth, good to see you. We got this weird loop, and all my words were coming back to me at about a 3-second interval. And suddenly they were stacking. And so it was this big wash of my own words looping and looping and looping and looping, which isn't possible. That should be absolutely impossible for the setup that we have and the internet and stuff, but it happens. And I think on the 100th episode, we did, I think it was before the 100th episode that this happened, but we did a clip of that, and I got it somewhere. I'll try to find it, but it was creepy. It was like really, really weird. It was like we were live, and then boom, everything went dead. I'm like, oh my God. And then I tried to reconnect, and then I finally reconnected, and then I got this weird audio loop where everything is looping and looping and looping. It was freaking insane. I've never had that happen again. Never had it happen before or since. Just that one time. But it was like somebody was letting me know you're getting into possibly muddy waters here. So I don't know. That was kind of freaky. All right, here we go. Let's get to the news and get you all informed as much as I can. Hopefully you enjoy it, but here we go. We're going in. Good to see ya. What that means, the next episode should be Men in Black. I tell you what, I've done Men in Black episodes since then, but it's just that one episode just pooped the bed, something huge, and that was really creepy and freaky. So happens. I don't know. You know, if you're hitting enough nerves, I guess somebody pays attention every once in a while and just throws a hammer at you. So that was my hammer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk, where we dive into everything paranormal that we can pack into Newsfest. And some of it's not paranormal, but hopefully it's interesting. Now, throughout the course of the show, we utilize a lot of sites, and I just ask you guys, please support these sites. Visit them. Check them out, because they all have thousands of articles and interesting stories dealing with the strange and unusual and the paranormal and the Fortean and the cryptozoological and everything else you can think of. So please visit these sites. Please support them. And your traffic does equal revenue to keep them on the air and to continue their churning forward with amazing stuff. My theories on who I struck a nerve with. Throughout the course of this show, that'd be a huge list. I'm sure I'm tap dancing on nerves all the time just because I'm such an idiot, but I love doing it. So what do you do? All right, let's dig in here, folks. We got the news. The first site we're going to be visiting is just a mainstay here on the portal. It's an amazing site that I love and use every episode pretty much. So let's see if you agree. And this is unexplained-mysteries.com. This one's kind of a sad story, really. Now, I know all of you guys heard about that Titanic submersible that kind of went nipples up somewhere deep in the underwater zone that they're in. And that's tragic and horrible and sad. And, you know, it's unfortunate. I love the spirit of them at least trying to do it and to try to go down there and to see it and make it kind of a touristy thing. That's amazing. But you do realize you're under a lot of water, a lot of pressure, and probably shouldn't be jumping into things somebody made in a garage to get through it. You know, it's just one of those things. And I'm not, a crushed pop can, exactly. Well, here it is, folks. From unexplained-mysteries.com comes our first article. And this is Wreckage Photo and Final Message of Titan Submersible Revealed. Oh, I didn't read the final message thing, but I guess we're going to find out. Investigators with the U.S. Coast Guard have provided new details about the Titan sub disaster. Back on June 18th, 2023, the undersea exploration vehicle, which was carrying 5 passengers, including Stockton Rush, CEO of Ocean Gate Expeditions, which was running the operation, disappeared after embarking on a trip to the wreck of the Titanic, situated 12,500 feet beneath the sea. That's just a scary number, because it's like, that's it. That's between deep ocean and outer space. All you got is this can that you're in. That's it. And if something goes sideways, it's all over. There's no way you're going to just, I'm just going to swim to the surface. Yeah. 12,500 feet. No, you're going to be like a grease spot at the bottom of the ocean. But anyway, unfortunately, that's what happened. So let's see. What followed was a multi-day search by rescue teams alongside extensive global coverage as people around the world waited with bated breath to see if the crew of the submersible could be located. Ultimately, though, the discovery of debris field a few days later confirmed the worst. Oops, hold on. The submersible had violently imploded, killing all 5 passengers. At a recent hearing into the disaster, investigators revealed for the first time actual photographs of the wreckage as well as the crew's final communications. And here we go. At around 1 hour into the dive, the sub sent the message, "All good here." The last communication, sent from a depth of 3,346 meters, indicated that 2 weights had been dropped. According to investigators, the hull of the submersible had never been subjected to third-party testing, and the vehicle had been left exposed to the elements while in storage. Ooh, that's not good. And there's a history of technical issues, 118 of them in total, over the course of 13 dives between 2021 and 2022, ranging from battery and thruster failures to the dome falling off after a dive. Oh, that's a bad sign. Company CEO Stockton Rush, who died in the disaster, was reportedly difficult to work with. Yeah, that's not a place where you should be dealing with a whole lot of pride. Not a crippling pride anyway. It's like, yeah, hey, Stockton, this stuff's not working. You just shut up. I say it's working fine. Yeah, thanks for that. Stockton would fight for what he wanted, even if it changed from day to day. He wouldn't give an inch, said former engineer director Tony Nissen. Most people would eventually back down to Stockton, and it was death by 1,000 cuts. There's the picture. It's absolutely tragic, of course. Regardless of what kind of difficulty this guy was to deal with, you certainly wouldn't wish that on him. But man, it's like if in something like this, you kind of should listen to your engineers. They're the guys that are going to probably see things being an issue and being a problem, but I don't even know what we're looking at here other than 2 pieces and then some kind of grid work in between it. So it was like everything else just blew out or what. I don't know, but I'm not really sure what the thing looked like before it went in the water, but I'm pretty sure that this wasn't part of the design. So, that's even crooked. It's close together here and far apart here. It's like, oh yeah, that's not good. So anyway, tragic, but maybe it'll go on to be a pretty powerful message to future endeavors. Listen to your engineers. Listen, don't put your pride in the way of things and your stubbornness. Let's listen to the people that know what the hell they're talking about. All right. So anyway, Stockton had been rich and privileged his whole life, not used to hearing no. That could be. I don't know anything about the guy, but yeah, I guess you got enough money. It doesn't make you right. It just means you got enough money. So pride goeth before destruction. Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. I get. What is he going to argue the water out of the sub? Nope. It was just a pop like a bubble, and it was game over as, thousands of tons of water pressure closed in on him. I bet you it was probably a quick way to go, but still, that is tragic and it's unfortunate. And there's a lot of people along for the ride. I expected it to be to be no pieces at all. Yeah. I don't know. Well, I guess it's once that pressure bubble in the middle was collapsed, then this stuff would just be fine because it wasn't really bearing the weight of holding out that water pressure anymore. So as the pressure got in, everything balanced, and this is just a piece of, I don't know, fiberglass or whatever the hell it's made out of. So I guess you'd think it would shatter like an egg, but I don't know how the hell it was built. It just wasn't built well enough. Apparently it had like an Xbox controller or something to drive it too. It's like, yeah, you might want to upgrade that a little bit. Brent, a 110-year-old ship that killed hundreds of innocent people through arrogance and gross incompetence, is still indirectly killing people through arrogance and gross incompetence. What's the ship? I don't know what we're talking about. It doesn't surprise me, I guess, but that's the Titanic. I get you. Sorry. I don't know. Sorry. But you're right. Yeah, it's kind of, it is kind of ironic though, isn't it? That the ship was sunk because of his hubris of people, and the ship to go see the sunk ship was destroyed by the hubris of a person. So that's probably a great point. No bounty towels either. Yeah, it's got these continent-sized rolls of bounty. There you go. It's the quicker picker upper. They should have probably had a few stowed in there just in case. It is very ironic, though. Yep, there you go. That's a good point, Grandizer. I hadn't thought of that, but true enough. A lot of sadness and now even more death. So, as of last year. But there you go. I don't know if you guys knew about that before, but you know now. And that's what it looked like, or looks like now. I don't know what it looked like going in, though. I'm sure it's not that, though. Doesn't look. They weren't meaning for it to look like that. That's just how it ended up. Let's get to the next article because there's always more. And this one comes from Extraterrestrial Files of Unexplained-Mysteries.com. And this is a real Lulu. Kind of cool, I guess. But, it's neat if they could actually detect this. Maybe they can. I don't know. I don't know enough about science to have any kind of opinions very much. But here we go. Unexplained-Mysteries.com brings us gravitational waves could help us detect alien warp drive ships. How big is this? Oh, it's a big one. I'll put the link to the article in here. We'll read a little bit off the front end. And if you want to read more about it or look more into what they're discussing, the link will be in the chats so you can check it out yourself. But it says, if someone out there is using a Star Trek style warp drive, there may be a way for us to detect it from here on Earth. Katie Clow, Sebastian Kahn, really? Kahn! That's kind of weird that a guy named Kahn would be on the team of scientists here. And Tim Dietrich, how much do we really know about what else is out there in the universe? Let's take an outlandish example. If there were aliens flying around our galaxy with the sort of warp drive technology we often see in sci-fi shows, what would the signal from their ships look like? Perhaps surprisingly, our research shows that we have the tools to answer this question, regardless of whether such things really exist. Telescopes that use light to probe space can now see almost to the edge of the observable, of what is observable. Each new frequency we have explored, from gamma rays to X-rays to infrared to radio, has taught us something new and unexpected. In 2015, a new kind of telescope, a detector called LIGO, was turned on, not looking for light waves, but for gravitational waves, which are invisible ripples in space and time. Again, nature surprised us with a signal labeled GW150914 and a pair of black holes, from a pair of black holes. Each were about 30 times the mass of our sun, merging together in a violent collision 1.4 billion light years away. Since then, gravitational waves have become an essential new tool for scholars exploring the universe, but we are still at the very beginning of our explorations. What signals might we see in the data, and will they change how we see the physics of the cosmos? There is, however, a more practical question that often gets overlooked. If something is out there, how would we recognize it? Well, there you go. That's the build-up, and if you want to read more, I'm going to put the link in the chats. You guys can check it out, and hopefully you enjoy it. Whoa, that's not what I was trying to do. I'm an idiot. Yep, I did it again. Let's refresh this. Hold on. So I can get the actual link. Sorry about that. I ended up pasting my old copied stuff in there, and it was talking about the portal. That's not what you wanted to see because you're already watching it. But here you go. Here is the link to the article if you guys want to check it out and learn more. I find it weird that if you had a subspace field, if you were able to create, well, the warp drive subspace idea is that you kind of creating a bubble around a craft to then flex space and, you know, compress it in front, expand it behind to create movement, but you're in a warp bubble, which kind of keeps you isolated in a fixed space-time moment or period. And so everything in that warp bubble will remain constant with where you formed it. So it isolates you from the faster than light travel and the ramifications of the relativity of that. So how would that create bubbles into the regular space-time? I don't know. I'm not sure. Not that I can, really weigh into this with any kind of real theory or expertise. I just don't know. But my understanding is that the warp bubble is basically isolating you from space-time, but locking you into a moment of space-time. And your space-time will continue with the moment of space-time where you started. And so therefore, when you travel several times the speed of light, you're not exposed to the relativity of that. In other words, time slows down for you and goes faster for everyone else kind of thing or whatever. So I don't know, very weird. But anyway, it's interesting. Interesting stuff, and maybe you'll want to learn more. You can. Didn't I put the link? I did put the link, yeah. It's just you guys are chatting so fast, it scrolled out of the way. I was in the Navy, and yes, they love the water. What does? That can hear underwater. I'm missing a whole bunch here. Gravity is way too sharp to be manipulated. Maybe. I don't know. Tommy Cooper, guys and girls. I'm just reading the chat here to see what I've been missing. There was a documentary in crop circles that said they may have been made from the past. Reminded me of what you say, Annie. Oh, very cool. Yes, it's amazing. Oh, the previous story. Gotcha. Okay, well, there you go. That's that article. And again, you'll have to read more if you're interested in hearing more or learning more. I don't understand enough about it to really probably comprehend the rest of the article. Anyway, I'm sure it's well written and all that, but just, I'm just a show host with a microphone, so don't expect much from me, but I'll do my best to read stuff for you. All right, here we go to the next article. We might do one or two more. Actually just two more anyway. No, three more. Well, we'll read some. We'll read some stuff here. We're going back to the extraterrestrial files on unexplained-mysteries.com, ladies and gentlemen, where we're going to dive into more of this fun. This one has to do with the belief in alien visitation. So here we go. Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us this article from the extraterrestrial files. Belief in alien visitation is now gaining unprecedented traction. So, is this a result of a soft disclosure? I'm doing the quote fingers off camera, but I don't know. You be the judge. Or is this just the fact that we're talking about it more information is out there now, and we're learning more than ever before? Maybe all the above, maybe one of the above, maybe none of the above. But let's dive into this. This one's not too long at all. It says more and more people are subscribing to the belief that UFOs are evidence of extraterrestrial visitors. While tales of strange objects in the skies have been recounted in artwork and literature dating back centuries, the modern UFO phenomena didn't really get started in earnest until the 40s, when tales of Foo Fighters over the battlefields of Europe and the story of Kenneth Arnold, whose encounter with multiple UFOs saw the coining of the term flying saucer, brought the topic to a wider audience. While interest had waned somewhat by the turn of the century, today there seems to be an ever-growing number of people who believe that UFOs were the real deal and that we're being visited by curious extraterrestrial entities who have traveled to our planet from distant solar systems. Whereas a polls taken back in the 90s indicated that around 20% of the U.S. believe that UFOs were alien visitors, now over 34% believe that this is the case. It's not just the general public who've expressed an interest in the subject either. U.S. government officials, including former department heads and members of Congress, also maintain that we're not alone. There's some guy drinking olive oil for some reason. I don't know where these ads come from, but I guess that might be good for you. In recent years, some have campaigned for greater disclosure of what the government actually knows about the topic, while whistleblowers such as David Grush have even claimed that secret efforts have been made to acquire and reverse engineer intact and partially intact vehicles of non-human origin. Elsewhere, U.S. Navy pilots have described close encounters with strange tic-tac-shaped objects off the coast of the United States, while footage of alleged UFOs or UAPs have been leaked, then subsequently confirmed as real by Pentagon officials. In other words, it's a topic that remains not only relevant, but also an integral part of modern culture and something that is unlikely to be forgotten about anytime soon. Whether or not we are really being visited by aliens, however, remains a topic of heated debate. So there you go. I don't know. I definitely know that what I saw, I don't believe for a minute was one of ours. But was it extraterrestrial? Was it extra dimensional? Is that somehow one and the same too? I've often wondered about the idea that perhaps the distant reaches of the galaxy could be maybe still in our current space, but it becomes a dimensional variation rather than a distant variation, or both. That perhaps dimensionally they can be, crossing the galaxy, rather than just traveling billions of light years or whatever to go from one place to the other. I don't know. Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm just somebody with a lot of ideas and absolutely no bearing or backing for any of them. So believe what you want, and you probably know more than I do. So there you go. That is that story, which brings us to, I don't know if I should do any more. What time is it? 7:46. I think we probably should be done with the news now. Let me just look and see what the rest of them were. Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll save that one for Friday. And that one's another UFO one. We'll save that for Friday as well. So I think that will wrap up the news, ladies and gentlemen. They could be here for entertainment. Yeah, just like the Bigfoot. They just like to watch us. What are these idiots doing now? Sexy bird, chicka boom boom. Hey, we will get you into the flat earth. Well, I don't know. I don't begrudge anybody believing whatever they feel is right. That's fine with me. Makes me no never mind either way, but yeah. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a presentation of the Paranormal Portal News, so I hope you found yourself informed, entertained, and maybe even a little enlightened. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to the rest of the show. We are fun idiots. You're right, Barbara. Where is here, Sunfire? Where are you? Southern Illinois. Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I love making it to any of the conferences that I can, and I'm definitely looking into doing some on the East Coast and even Central United States, but I haven't done it yet. I'm just entertaining the idea of doing it, but I definitely think it'd be awesome to get out and go everywhere that I can. I don't know that, what did you say, the end of next month or at the end of this month? What did he say? There's a Sasquatch Festival here next month. Okay, so it's in October. That sounds interesting. Great newsy news. Thank you, Maggie. Newsy news, Maggie. All right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I do have a couple other articles that I feel are newsworthy, but I thought we'd cover them separately. but they're coming from Sasquatch Chronicles. And this one is the first one. It has to do with, I don't know if it's the orang pendek or maybe the Homo floresiensis over in Indonesia, but this is one that Wes posted on the 13th. I thought, oh, cool. So I think we're going to cover that now as our supplemental stuff. It could be in the cryptid corner, but since it's kind of more newsy news, then we'll cover it like newsy news. All right, so again, from SasquatchChronicles.com, this is Wes Germer's site. Amazing site. Please check it out. Wes does a fantastic job keeping this current and relevant and informative as hell. And there's so much to check out there that isn't necessarily an active part of his podcast, but they are definitely wonderful links and segments to check out from a lot of other shows, sometimes the Paranormal Portal, which is always awesome. Thanks for the promotion, Wes, over on your site. I appreciate it, brother. All right, here we go. We are going to go to Sasquatch Chronicles. This is from September 13th. Again, we're talking about the islands of Indonesia. And it says, anthropologist thinks a human subspecies might still be alive on an Indonesian island. That is interesting. Look at those sculptures. Yeah, those definitely don't look like normal people faces. Quite an evolution there. But let's see what it says. On speaking to the indigenous people of Flores Island, the scientist believes that an archaic hominin species could still exist. Earth holds countless scientific wonders yet to be uncovered, and while we know there are remote places home to rare, untouched species of plants and animals, what many don't realize is that there's also maybe an ancient human species still living in isolation. Anthropologist Gregory Forth has speculated that Homo floresiensis, I guess it's floresiensis, a hominin species thought to be extinct, might still roam the remote island of Flores in Indonesia, according to the scientist. Yeah, I mean, the claims of these mini people are pretty abundant with, the local inhabitants. Like, they see them. They experience them. Much like even here in the Americas, the Pukwudgies, the gnomes, the proto-pygmies are still being sighted, even though they're, oftentimes not even acknowledged by science, but people are still experiencing something of these small-statured humanoids. It says, Forth's theory stems from a groundbreaking discovery of small hominin fossils in 2004. A team led by Mike Morwood, an archaeologist from University of Wollongong, Australia, discovered a diminutive skull in the Liang Bua caves of Flores Island. Considering the small ape-like physique, the Homo floresiensis was labeled Hobbit after the fictional characters from J.R.R. Tolkien's book series, and the genesis of these hobbits and their correlation with other hominin species is still being debated. But when Forth began conducting ethnographic fieldwork on Flores Island, he heard from the locals that human-like creatures, though seemed evasive, were witnessed in the isolated mountain territories of the island. And also Morwood has made a comment on this folklore, saying the people's description fitted floresiensis to a T. Forth's research focused on first-hand accounts from the indigenous Leo people who live in the island's rugged, remote mountains with little exposure to modern literacy or technology. Forth mentions, to be sure, the Leo don't have anything akin to modern evolutionary theory, with speculation driven by mutation and natural selection, and adds, but if evolutionism is fundamentally concerned with how different species arose and how differences are maintained, then Leo people and other Flores Islanders have for a long time been asking the same questions. He said that Leo people had a similar classification of animal species as modern systematics, and that they distinguish humans from non-human animals, not just on the morphological aspects, but by associating with expressions of culture, language, and technology exclusive to humans. On speaking to the indigenous peoples of Flores Island, the scientist believes that an archaic hominin species could still exist. Representative cover image source, Pexels. Okay. Magda Ehlers. Earth holds countless scientific wonders yet to be uncovered, and while we know there are remote places home to rare, untouched species of plants and animals, what many don't realize is that there's also maybe ancient human species still living in isolation. Okay, I thought we read all that before, but fourth theory stems from groundbreaking discovery of small hominin fossils. We read that. I guess it repeats a little bit here. Fourth research focused on first-hand accounts. Yeah, we read that. Okay, we read that. Fourth addressed the reliability of the Leo tribe's accounts, explaining that for the Leo, the ape man's appearance as something incompletely human makes the creature anomalous and hence problematic and disturbing, and adds, for academic scientists, H. floresiensis is similarly problematic, but not so much for its resemblance to H. sapiens. Rather, it's because the species appears very late in the geological record, surviving to a time well after the appearance of modern humans. Though he acknowledges the fact that some features of the hobbit creatures, which Leo people called ape men, might fit an undiscovered species of ape, most of their statements, along with the biogeography of Indonesia, support the hypothesis that Homo floresiensis still exists. Forth spoke to over 30 eyewitnesses whose experiences made him infer that the species did not go extinct 12,000 years ago, as suggested by the original research. While archaeologists who excavated the hobbit remains classified them as extinct, Forth challenges that assumption. Our initial instinct, I suspect, is to regard the extant ape men of Flores as completely imaginary, but taking seriously what the Leo people say, I've found no good reason to think so, and added, what they say about the creatures supplemented by other sorts of evidence is fully consistent with the surviving hominin species, or one that only went extinct within the last 100 years. Anthropologists hope that other life scientists will integrate this indigenous knowledge while studying the evolution of hominin species in Indonesia and other parts of the world. Well, that's interesting. That's really cool. I'm glad this guy's taken this leap because, again, there's a few diminutive hominin type creatures that are witnessed in Indonesia. The Ibu Gogo is one. Of course, the orang pendek is another, and obviously the Homo floresiensis is one. So are these three one and the same with variants throughout the islands, or are they uniquely individual species that are still out there? And, in the jungles and wilds and mountains of Indonesia, I mean, there's literally hundreds and hundreds of islands, and some of them are not populated or very sparsely populated. And if they are, they're with very archaic cultures. So, but the claims are not rare in a lot of these disparate regions. They have these claims of people seeing and witnessing these things. And while, again, a lot of people maintain, look, witnesses are not reliable. But are all of them not reliable? Not one of them? Not even a few of them could be reliable? Sure, people are prone to exaggeration. They're prone to interpreting things through a adrenalized lens where they're all, shocked and they see things and maybe that gets interpreted a little weird, but that doesn't mean they didn't see something that shouldn't be there according to traditional ideas. So again, I think it's wonderful. I think it's fantastic, and it's great that this guy's taken that leap, much like, John Bindernagel, of course, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Tom Green, so many people before that took that risk and that idea that, there's still things going on that we haven't discovered and we have a lot to learn. So I like that. I'm encouraged by that. I don't know how you guys feel, but that's my opinion. Hi, Shelley Montgomery. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Thank you for coming in. It's wonderful to see you. Not Too Haunted came in. Good to see you, Not Too. Not too haunted, just a little bit haunted. All right, so that's the first one that I wanted to bring to you. And there's another that Wes had posted that I thought was really interesting, but I got to see where it is. Oh, here we go. This one I thought was interesting. I don't know if this naturally occurred or if it was maybe encouraged co-breeding. I'm not sure. But anyway, this is also from Sasquatch Chronicles blog. Again, this is why you should check it out, because Wes posts all this stuff on there. It's just amazingly intriguing things. So here we go from September 17th, Sasquatch Chronicles blog. First ever cross between a dog and a fox hailed as amazing discovery by scientists. Aha! The Mirror US reports an amazing first ever cross between a dog and a fox has been found in Brazil. The animal, which was given the name Dogzim, was taken to the Universidade Federal de Rio Grande do Sul Veterinary Hospital in 2021 after it was hit by a car, but staff were unable to work out whether it was a dog or a fox. And it led to genetic tests being carried out by scientists, with results now published suggesting the animal is the first ever hybrid dog-fox. There you go. The Dogzim, which shared characteristics of both animals with large pointy ears, thick wiry hair, fur, I guess, and long pointed snout, died earlier this year of unknown causes, and it is only now following the results of the test that it has emerged how significant she was. Oh, she's beautiful. Vets noted how the animal showed characteristics of both a domesticated and wild species, having preferred to eat live rodents, and it was initially wary of people. At the same time, it was not as aggressive as it would have been expected of a wild animal. Flavia Ferrari, a conservationist who worked with the hybrid animal, said how over time she became more comfortable being around people. She was an amazing animal, really a hybrid between a pampas fox and a dog, she told the Telegraph, and it was not as docile as a dog, but it also lacked the aggressiveness of a wild canid when handled. She had a shy and cautious personality, generally preferred to stay away from people. Over the time she was hospitalized for treatment, I believe she started to feel safer. That's a beautiful animal, though. Wow, stunning. Tests determined the animal that had a bark like a dog and liked to play with toys had 76 chromosomes, which were a mixture of those found in foxes and dogs, and researchers believe the animal's mom was a pampas fox and her dad was a domesticated dog, but they're not sure what breed he was. Oh, look at that baby. Still kind of a fox-like tail, although more like a shepherd, I guess. But the animal was neutered as part of her treatment, but scientists believe she may have been able to reproduce, and there are more dog-fox crossbreeds in the wild. Bruna Eleonora Zizwelski of Universidade Federal do Rio Grande do Sul, which did tests on the animal, said, "In our study, we recorded the first case of hybridization between one species of wild canid and a domestic dog. The findings were published in the Journal of Animals, and scientists believe there may be more dogzims in the wild. It is not the first time that domestic dogs have interbred with wild species before, including coyotes, wolves, and dingoes, but these have been within the same genus or biological group." Well, there you go. I guess there's a enough genetic similarity between the two to have made that possible. Well, interestingly, though, it'd been a neat to see if she could indeed have bore offspring. I don't know. I don't know if they saved that stuff or if they just went, oh, she's spayed now, throw that away. I don't know. Or if they make soup out of it. I know some places make food out of pretty much anything. That's a gross thought, but it did occur to me. That's how my head works. But anyway, I don't know. I'm here to tell you that foxes really are surprisingly, in my experience, are surprisingly docile and intelligent. They're so intelligent. When I lived along the Mississippi River in back in Red Wing, there was this fox that just started appearing, just out of nowhere. Beautiful fox, and She was, I think a she, because one time she appeared with a whole bunch of other foxes that were smaller than her. So I was like, oh, those are your babies. But she was beautiful. And I would stand outside and she would kind of come up and even get close. Like she was surprisingly naturally tame or just didn't feel that worried about me. Maybe she was a good reader of energy. Not that, I have great energy, but I don't know. Like she just maybe knew that I wasn't ever going to hurt her. And I actually got to the point where I was hand feeding her. Like I'd bring out scraps from dinner and hold them out my hand, and she would come up a little sheepishly, but she'd take them right from my hand. Another time I was out by the river and I don't know, for some reason, the animals either really love me or they hate me. And I don't know what it is. They either love the hell out of me or they don't like me at all. And it's weird. Or they want to dominate me. One of the two. Maybe they love me or they want to dominate me. One of the two. But anyway, there was another time I was out there, and it was as the water had been coming up, and it wasn't quite to flood stage for the house, but it was really high up on the beach. And I just had this laser pointer. So I was out, shining the laser pointer in the water, just see if I could get a fish come up and hit it in the dark. Never did, but I was shining it around. I kept hearing this rustling right next to me. I'm like, what the hell's that? And it sounded like it was getting closer. I'm like, what is that? So I'm standing there and I'm shining it around, and then I finally stopped and I switched it. It was like it had a flashlight on it as well. So I changed it to the flashlight and shone it, and about 3 feet away from me was a wild skunk looking at me. I was like, oh no, I don't think it knows what I am. And now I'm worried because all it's got to do is like rotate and spray me, and I'm screwed. But I'm just standing there. I'm like, oh, so I just slowly back up, but it didn't freak out or anything. And I even shined the light on me so I could get a good look at what I was in case it wasn't getting it. And it just looked at me, and it was like fine. So it was very strange, but it was like being feet away from a skunk, a huge adult skunk, but it wasn't freaked out. So I don't know, maybe there's something in the water down there. Being south of the nuclear plant changed everything. I don't know. But it was a skunk just literally a couple feet away. And it didn't seem at all bothered that I was there. And I just retreated slowly, talked to it nicely, and it didn't ever turn and spray, thank God. But once I realized what it was, I was like, oh no. So yeah, I had a neighbor that did have a pet skunk that was like it took out the glands so it couldn't spray. They named it Rosie, and it was a sweet little pet. I guess it was. I mean, I never really pet it, but we would go over and see it, and it was their pets. They would pet it and stuff, but it always had a funky smell to me, a very musky smell. But yeah, I almost got skunked literally. So yeah, I guess it could tell it's a predator. Yeah. I wasn't praying. I live in the country. Last month, I heard a growling noise. It's not a bear or any normal animal. The voice was coming from the woods, and it was dark at night. And standing in front of my house, I get afraid. Well, yeah, I mean, if something's growling, yeah, definitely be careful. Who knows what it could be, if it's, a normal animal or not. But if it's growling, that's always a bad sign. So you got to respect that and just retreat to the safety of your home. If I was a skunk, I'd have fun with people. Yeah. Could you imagine? There's fox in the park forest by my place. Yeah. And I love foxes. After that experience, I was like, well, these are beautiful animals. They're very intelligent, very smart. And it was very docile, very calm. And if I laid down in the yard, it would come and nip at my shoes like it wanted to play with me. It was really funny. It was just fun. I just thought it was really neat. Yeah, stink kitty. So anyway, there's a couple of great articles that Wes posted, and thank you, Wes, for doing that. I think I had it up on screen so you guys could see the pictures. I hope I did, but if you didn't, if I didn't do that, there's the pictures of this dog fox, or what did they call it again? A foxim or something like that. I forget. Yeah, dog zims. I don't know how they came up with that name, but that's the name they settled on. So very cool, very beautiful animal. It looks, I wonder if it's quite a bit bigger than a normal fox, like how it measures to a standard fox. I don't know. But there you have it, a dog fox hybrid. Doesn't surprise me. I think that there's probably genetic compatibility through a lot of species, especially in the canids. Why not? I don't know how genetically diverse they all are, but they obviously look very different, but you can breed a Chihuahua with a St. Bernard if you want. I mean, and if there was any possibility for genetic incompatibility, you'd think that would be it, but I don't know why you'd wanna, but I don't know, maybe you can't. I don't know. But I know that's, the fact that we have all these breeds, all the dog breeds, as I understand it, came from wolves, and careful breeding and selection were, what took place to create all the diversity of dogs that we know today. So pretty incredible. But could you have a wolf fox cross then? Maybe, I don't know, but there you have it. I was today old when I learned about dogsims, or whatever the hell it was. Paranormal Portal, do you think there's any correlation between red eyes and aggression in cryptids? Sorry if too much of a tangent. No, I've heard that. There's an old apparently Native American wisdom that's dealing with Sasquatch that I heard years ago. I can't speak to the veracity of the claim that it's actually Native American, but it is something that I heard. And the thing was, if you're being presented with some form of Sasquatch or whatever names that they gave them, if they had red eyes, you saw red glowing eyes, that was a very bad sign. But if you saw the gold glowing eyes, that was a very good sign that they probably weren't aggressive, but they definitely attributed the red eye glow with aggression or danger, but the golden glow was very intelligent and peaceful. I don't know. So without anything to compare that to, that's the only reference I've ever heard to that, but I would trust them. They, have a long history of knowing about these things. So if they say that's the way it is, I'm going to trust that. I saw red eyes up in a tree last week. It was probably an owl. Sure. I mean, it's certainly, no, anytime, Maggie, I'm happy to answer any questions that I can, but I mean, it's just theory, hypothesis, but it's what I've heard. If that's makes it good or not, I don't know. Cryodo interview. What's a cryodo? Or do you mean crypto? Crypto interview. Tommy. Which did you mean, sure? And speaking of Tommy Cooper, ladies and gentlemen, the live podcast this week is an interview with Tommy Cooper and Jason Trost of Cryptovania. We had a great discussion, and we're definitely going to get them back and have much more discussions. Many more discussions, because we just barely scratched the surface. If any of you have ever been a guest on my podcast and I said, hey, we'll have to get you back, please email me, because I've said that so many times and I genuinely mean it for every guest. But I don't always have the ability to get back to those people directly. But if you've been on the show and we said that, then go to the webpage, paranormalportal.net, click the interview me, and find a date on the calendar where you can appear, and we'll have you back. For Tommy and Jason, we'll probably get them back in about a month and continue the journey for sure. So crunchy on the outside, smooth on the inside. Armadillo. I didn't know where you were going with that. I had no idea. I'm having trouble with my homework tonight. My voice is a little crappy. But anyway, that's a couple articles from Sasquatch Chronicles regarding these other species and other things. But anyway, we have much more, because now, what time is it? 8:12. It's perfect time to dive into the cryptids. If there's Bigfoot ads with beef jerky, why not a Visine ad where a hiker share a Coke and live in harmony? Yeah, the red eyes, give them the eye drops and they're gold. Yeah, that'd be awesome. No worries, Tommy. Typos are fine. I can't see for anything. No worries. No worries at all. If you looked at my social media post on Facebook showing my keyboard, most of the letters are no longer visible on home row. So it's a good thing I know how to type. It's my only takeaway. We can usually figure out typos. Yep, Brent, I asked Jeff Woolwine of Phoenix Lights to contact you for an interview. I hope he does. Oh, very good, Randizer. I appreciate that. I'm not familiar with Phoenix Lights, but yeah, I'd love to talk to anybody. I'm absolutely thrilled. Smoking Guns Fab Shop. Good to see you, brother. Hey, you. For dry red eyes, clear eyes is awesome. I don't know, Chucky. You might have a future in marketing, brother. Could work. I don't know. Could also broaden the awareness of Bigfoot and eyeshine. Just saying. Just a thought. But we've got a lot more to get to here, folks. So I guess we're going to do that because it's time for the Cryptid Corner. Let's do it. Let's see what the hell's going on in the world of creatures and that kind of oddities. So here we go. And I got to click this. The Cryptid Corner is underway here, folks, on the Paranormal Portal. And as such, since we're already on Sasquatch Chronicles, let's dive into more. Brent, apologies. Phoenix Lights, the 1987 UFO over Phoenix. Brent is a researcher since late 80s in the Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, very cool. Yeah, it sounds like it'd be a fascinating discussion. I'd love to hear from them. So I hope they do. Hope they reach out. That'd be great. All right. We're going to dive into Sasquatch Chronicles again and go through some listener emails that Wes has posted on his blog. And we're starting on September 17th. Was not a normal creature whatsoever. Encounter in Utah desert, rabbit hunting. And let's see what's going on here. A listener writes, "Hey, Wes, I'm writing you because of years back when my brother and I were in our teens hunting rabbits in the deserts of Utah, or desert, rather. We had a wild encounter with a creature that definitely wasn't a Sasquatch or any known wolf. So it's something else, folks. I remember him and I walking a line that was over a slight hill to where we couldn't see him. He started calling my name frantically, and I ran up the hill to see what was going on. I honestly thought he came across a big snake or something, judging by his voice. And when I came over the hill, I asked him what the hell was going on, and he pointed in the direction east of us, and there was a giant, jet black, long-haired wolf, like I think he means creature, not created, hauling a tail across the field, and all I could tell is that it went past him and startled him quite a bit. My brother is quite the tough guy, and it freaked me out because of its size. I would give or take the creature was about 10 to 12 feet nose to tail, if not longer. The most jet black coloration I've ever seen in my life, and moving at a speed that was not imaginable. We started shooting at it, and I know for a fact we hit it at least a few times, and the damn thing never flinched. It was absolutely wild, and it got through the field and into a ravine and never seen again. Again, why? Why are you taking shots at something that you don't know what you're taking shots at? Now, I mean, you're scared. I get it, but that doesn't mean, hey, you scared me. Now you need to get shot. It may not have flinched because it was just pumping adrenaline like crazy. And it might have went over somewhere and had to die because you're just taking dump shots at it. Dumbasses. Anyway, to this day, me and my brother contemplate what the hell we saw or experienced. Wes, in the desert we were in, there is no wolves, only coyotes. And it wasn't a coyote. We thought it could have been someone's dog that got away, but there was no people around us. So again, you just shot some bullets at it. That's brilliant. I have no explanation whatsoever, but I can tell you what we saw wasn't a normal creature whatsoever. Again, why do people get to the point where it's like, I don't know what that was, but let's shoot it? That's kind of contrary to what you should be thinking. It's like the last thing you should be trying to do is putting rounds in it, especially if it already ran away from you and is running away, ran right by you, but is running away. You're not in present danger anymore. It's going away from you. And if there is more, then you're popping shots at one. And if it's intelligent, the other ones might go, all right, you're on the menu. I mean, it's just such a bad idea. It's just a bad idea. I just use just a few firing neurons and think about this. I understand being afraid and being like, oh God, you got to shoot that. But you got to work past that. You don't know what you're shooting. You don't know what ramifications that can have. If not for you, then for everybody else that ever sets foot in that area. If what you hit does live, it's going to have a new hate for everyone that comes into that area. And that's just a whole bucket of stupid. So listening to the sound of my voice, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, don't shoot something you don't know what you're shooting at. I mean, God only knows what it could be. Could be anything. But if it is something like a cryptid and you just put holes in it, if it lives, it's going to hate everyone that looks like you. And that's everyone else that did nothing wrong. So just use a little bit of knowledge. If it's coming at you, do what you got to do. I wouldn't blame you. Hell, I'd be, dumping loads into it too. But it's running away, for God's sakes. That's just the biggest bucket of dumb I've heard in a long time. So anyway, I don't know. That's my opinion. But yeah, there you go. Maggie says, I think they keep going until they can't anymore or overcome by infection. Yeah, or blood loss. I mean, I doesn't sound like they tried to trail it or check for a blood trail. They were just like, let's get the hell out of here. Well, what did you do? What is the ramifications of what just happened? 'Tis but a small flesh wound. Could be. Hopefully whatever it was is fine and wasn't affected by it. But it's just, I mean, if it was attacking you, you got to do what you got to do. I don't blame anybody that's being attacked for just, hey, this is the tool I got to use it. I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm just being a little too sensitive about it, but I just think of the ramifications of those actions and not even so much by the people doing them, but how it can affect everyone else that is ever going to go into this area. Now may have extraordinary danger attached to each visit, because if it lived or if it had offspring that saw that happen, everybody that looks like you walking bipedally and in the forest is now a target. It's just so dumb. But anyway, yeah, that's my rant. Well, can you or not? I don't know. Truth, I've heard both versions. I've heard of people killing dogmen. I've heard of people not being able to kill dogmen. I've heard people dumping rounds into Bigfoots, killing Bigfoots. And I've heard of not being able to kill a Bigfoot because the guns just weren't big enough. I don't know. But do you want to be the one to cause them pain and to make every experience they have with people after that an absolute danger experience? It's just, I don't know. That stuff drives me crazy. Attack a cow with birdshot. It doesn't do much. Well, probably not. But birdshot is even surprisingly will penetrate like a solid wood door. It's more of a peppering and more probably of a flesh wound, but still, that's got to be a pain response. Birdshot is like in shotgun shells, they're a round that has this plastic casing around it, and inside the top of the round, on the front end of it that comes out of the barrel, birdshot is these little small BBs that's meant to hit a bird and take it out of the sky. So it doesn't have a lot of stopping power. And then there's bigger shot like buckshot, which is big BBs in there, and then there's slugs, which are like a big metal round that's inside of the shotgun shell, and it comes out as a blast. So but I mean, even birdshots will could certainly cause a lot of damage or problems with infection or whatever, as was stated before. So yeah, just don't shoot at stuff unless you have to. That's my takeaway. Those are the things that get spit out on the plate. Haha. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you're eating the bird, that's what you're losing fillings on, is the bird shot. So anyway, good article, but I just really cringe every time I read that somebody thought that was the best recourse. It's like, well, we got guns, let's start using them. It's like, why? It's running away. It's fine. Just go back to your truck and go home. Or continue on, whatever. If you got the balls for it, good. Keep going. But, if you feel like you're in danger, just leave. Don't just start dumping lead downrange and hoping for the best. I only shoot at point blank range if they're that close. They're attacking. Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, if it's coming at you, even a bluff charge, I don't blame people for putting rounds into things that are bluff charging, because how do you know? You don't know it's a bluff charge until it changes direction. If it doesn't change the directions, you may not be able to do anything after that, because it's just feet, a matter of feet, you know. So, yeah, try not to shoot cryptids. I'm with you, Tommy. I'm with you, brother. Yeah. But if they're, you know, if they're gnawing on your arm or something, yeah, then, yeah, empty it. Just, you know, burn a hole in it if you can. I don't know. At that point, you got to do what you got to do. But I'm just saying, if something's running away, danger's already passed. It's going farther and farther away. You're getting more and more safe with every second. You know, why antagonize it and start dumping rounds at it? What if it stops and goes, oh, okay, it's on. All right. Buffet is ready. You know, you might just change their mind to the running away to I'm hungry. So anyway, I don't know. I won't be shooting nothing. I just have me a pig sticker just in case of pigs. Well, that's probably a good thing to have. I don't have any firearms, so I'm out of luck. I'll just run away. Yeah, I just hope you're quick. I don't know. I mean, just generally speaking, with cryptid encounters, most of them are just benign. You know, it's just like, oh God, there's people, boom, and they take off. That's just the whole encounter. Most encounters in, you know, in the Bigfoot world last like literally 3 seconds. You know, 3 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003, it's gone. And you're like absorbing the fact that it's there. You're scared, hyper adrenalized, and then it's gone. Why didn't you get a picture? Well, I was, you know, more concerned with whether it was going to come at my face. I wasn't thinking of a selfie. So, the whole, everybody's got cameras. Why aren't there more pictures? Because it was 12 feet tall and it looked pissed. And I was thinking, no, I'm not really looking for a photo at this point. I'm looking to live. Yeah, that's the logic. Yeah. I don't want to be the coiled steamer on the trail after Dogman got done. All right, I just did a series of shooting classes, thinking of getting rid of alarm system and just putting up the used targets. Ooh, that's good. That might do it, Elaine. If you're a good shot. If you suck, then put some extra holes right in the middle. Just saying. They won't know unless they were there watching the target practice. Anyway, let's continue on. There's more. Another one from Sasquatch Chronicles. September 17th, trying to rationalize what I've experienced. Yeah. A listener writes, "Good morning, Wes. I'd like to introduce myself to you. I'd like to tell you about my brother and I's experience in the woods of Louisiana. First of all, it started with just my brother, Josh, who was hunting in a wildlife management area. And he was at his portable deer blind and noticed an animal walk to a fallen tree and squat down behind the tree. And it just looked like it was foraging. He started texting me about it, and I told him to try and record it the best he could. Well, he wasn't sure if it was a bear or a man, but then it stood up and walked away. He called me and walked over to where it was and said that it left impressions in the mud, which he also recorded. Here's a video of the recording." Really? Is this like a bad link? What is this going to? YouTube. All right. Well, let's look at what he recorded. Might as well. He posted it. I just want to take down this.
Hello, welcome back to the Paranormal Review. And before we get started today, I just
22.8 thousand subscribers. All right, I don't want to put in his whole spiel here, but I just want to see, when do we get to what he saw or what he experienced or what he noticed. I guess we're here. Let's do this.
Rather than run, if possible. Then he goes over here and he takes some video of the, I guess, footprints maybe, or trying to find.
Look at that. What do we got for scale, though?
Research on his own. I kind of find it hard to believe, after seeing a creature that big, if he really thought it was a Bigfoot or some other creature, he's going to walk over there alone. It doesn't appear there's anyone with him.
That's true. Okay. So that's video. It's pretty grainy. It's kind of hard to make out. I don't want to re-air that guy's video because I haven't talked to him directly, but it is posted on Wes's blog, and in the spirit of, and there's a whole lot of end that doesn't have anything. A lot of gray screen at the end. I don't want to play on, off, whatever. So there it is. Utah treasure hunt live. I don't know what that is. I guess there's a, oh, this is 10 years ago. So this was posted 10 years ago, according to this. But did he say that? It doesn't say when it was, I guess. Okay, what he submitted to Bigfoot Evidence, who sent either himself or someone out there to meet Josh at the site, and they found foot impressions with possible dermal ridges, but I never saw them nor Josh after that day. Was that his brother? Isn't his brother Josh? Never saw Josh after that day? What happened? Bigfoot Evidence seemed to want to sensationalize his experience, adding details that were never discussed with Josh, which really caused him to not want to talk about his experience at all. In the video attached in the description, it says that Josh locked eyes with the creature for 15 minutes and then it panicked and rushed out of the area. Well, that never happened. In March 2013, I came to visit Josh and I convinced him we should go back out there at night and do what the Finding Bigfoot people do and do some tree knocks and whoops. So we did, and we traveled to, and there's the coordinates, approximately 9 p.m. that night on an ATV to see what we could see. We made sure to make sure our flashlights were charged and brought a 2x4 to knock on wood. So we drove down this old logging road till we came to a fallen tree that laid across the road. We got off the ATV and waited in darkness for about 10 minutes. I told Josh I would do my first long whoop and see what happens. Well, I let out the call, and in the fair distance to the right of us, we hear some coyotes start yipping, but then far off in front of us, we hear a whoop back. I told Josh, let's sit here in the dark. And we sat in silence, listening, as you do when you deer hunt, and about 10 minutes passed, and I do another call, and we get an immediate answer to the front of us, but this time, it was closer. Well, Josh starts to get excited and is asking, what the hell was that? I told him, let's wait a little bit and then knock the wood against a fallen tree. We waited about 5 minutes, and I did 3 knocks, which we got a response kind of far off to the left front of us. The woods go silent, dead silent. And we start to hear talking in front of us, almost like gibberish. And there were maybe 2 to 3 voices, and one voice moves left of us, and the other moves right. It sounds like maybe 200 yards away, but growing louder. Well, Josh turns on his flashlight to see if he can see anything, but the fallen tree is really in the way. And neither one of us wanted to be on the other side, separated from the ATV, but his flashlight begins to die pretty quickly, and it isn't very strong. So he turns it off, and we're in darkness again and hearing what sounds like walking towards us on both sides of the logging road. Then things start falling around us, thuds in the dirt in front of us, and we realize that sticks are being thrown. So we back towards the ATV, and I told Josh I wanted to try something. And I let out a scream call. And in an instant, we hear this deep growl to the right of us. What sounds like a large body stepping into water. Oh, we freak out and get on the ATV, but we couldn't get it to start. It sounded like the woods came to life around us, and most definitely something on both sides of the road moving towards us. It was the longest seconds in my life sitting in the back of the ATV with my back to the dark. We got it started and we hightailed it out of there. We really haven't talked much about it, and I stopped going out at night doing those calls. I used to do it with a few college kids that was in my college ministry at the time, but I haven't since that night. Our great-grandmother was Choctaw, and I grew up with her never letting us going out at night because that's when the old ones, is what she would say, would come out, and they took people. My father seen 2 in the Kitsachi Forest Preserve when he was around 20 years old. And I guess between him and my great-grandmother, I've always had an interest in the phenomena that surrounds this topic. Now, my family listened to your podcast sometimes, and when we were traveling for an hour or so, and we try to rationalize what people experience, as I've tried to rationalize what I've experienced. There you go. I mean, I appreciate the guy's frankness and addressing the inconsistencies that may have happened on that other channel. What was that called? The Paranormal Review. I don't know. I don't know the Paranormal Review channel at all. It's looks like 10 years ago. It's got 22,000. How many people are, when's his latest video? 8 years ago? 8 years ago. When's the latest videos that he's done? 1 month ago. So I guess he's still at it. Okay. 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Looks like very short videos is what he's doing. Mostly, most popular ones were 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 10 years ago. So the guy's been at it a long time, or this group of people has been at it a long time. Good for them. I don't know anything about them, but I think it's fantastic. More channels out there, the better. The more of us looking into this weirdness. But anyway, maybe that's a channel you want to check out, the Paranormal Review. See some of their videos and what they're saying. I don't know. This person's kind of maybe not real happy with what they covered on his brother's story, but who knows what his brother said in person versus what he told the brother. Maybe that's the inconsistency. I don't know either way, but interesting. And I love the First Nations histories on that. So Maggie says, I just missed every and all weird stuff until 2017. Yeah, I think we all have that moment where we just go, yep, there's more going on here. We got to look into this. I think we all desperately cling to life as we know it because it's safe. We know that life. We know what's going on in the world because that's one we live in. We know the rules and all that, but then something happens and maybe a series of somethings happen and it changes everything. It's like, I can't ignore this anymore. There's something going on. If that's what you mean, Maggie. But I think I've always been into it. I don't think there was ever an on moment for me. It's just, I love the fact that there's magic and mystery and there's discovery in this world. Brent, he said he ain't heavy. He's my brother. Yes, that's exactly it, Brent. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, I think it's fascinating. I love the idea that we have a lot to learn. I don't like the idea that we got it all figured out. Trust the science. Because I'm not anti-science, but I'm anti-funding. I think science should remain a neutral entity, never influenced by monetary issues or subsidizations. I think it should just be a neutral entity that just exposes what it finds. But unfortunately, science is not always used in that manner. It's used for a lot of other reasons. So I don't think you don't trust the science, but you definitely can't blindly trust the science. Do your homework. Do your homework before you jump onto anything, including all of this weirdness. Don't believe in this stuff because I'm saying you should or could. Just do your homework. The scientific method, the true scientific method, you're absolutely right. It's science has to, the true scientific method is to accept all eventualities until they can be effectively tested and removed. If you can't effectively test and remove hypotheses or theories, they remain valid in the true scientific model. Unfortunately, that's not practice. There's too much hubris and ego and supposition involved. So there is more for science to figure out, Maggie. Absolutely. Explore all thoughts. Exactly, Chucky. Truth. Absolutely. Amen, Drake. You had a grandma in your bedroom? What? What is that? Then there was a babushka grandma in my bedroom, Rachel had. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Rachel, it doesn't surprise me that you're attracting weirdness. Not that I think you're weird. It's just you're one of those energetic souls. You're one of those beacons. I think a lot of us are. That's why we're exploring this phenomena. We tend to draw things to us, whether it's ghostly, UFO-y, or cryptid-y, or spiritually, or strange phenomena-y. We tend to bring this stuff to us. I always allow typos, Tommy, because I am not a teacher. I don't correct and hand things back. I take them at face value. So, yep, we're all beacons. We're all beacons because we're on the journey. And I think like attracts like. Energy follows intention is one thing I've been told ever since I was a small child. Energy follows intention. So if your intention is to learn more and to explore this stuff, then your energy will draw that stuff to you and bring you to it. So I believe in that stuff completely. It's all a part of our manifestation. We are incredible manifestors of our reality. And it doesn't mean we're making it up. It doesn't mean we're inventing this stuff. It's out there. But we are manifesting our ability to perceive it, I think is what that means. Or our willingness to perceive it. As in some people, they just don't want anything to do with it. They don't acknowledge this stuff because it's not part of their wheelhouse. So we do create our experience. And my mind goes to science. Good, Barbara. I think it's important that our minds should go to science too, because I think that blind acceptance of anything is premature, and it's probably irresponsible to just grab onto something because it's something you want to believe in. I think we all probably have some confirmation bias, but you got to challenge it with logic. And that's where we find the truth, somewhere in the middle there. And a lot of people, Maggie says, yes, try to disprove. A lot of people accept things like, oh, I believe that for sure. That's for sure true. So-and-so is from the Galactic Council of Pleiadians, and that's, they're folk, and maybe they are. I don't know. I'm not saying that's not possible, but that's a fantastic claim. And to just accept that a fantastic claim on the fact that it was made is premature. I think you have to investigate these things with logic and challenge, and that's okay. It's okay to have your beliefs challenged. It's okay to challenge beliefs. It doesn't mean that you're attacking them, although a lot of times people use that as a safeguard. Oh, you're attacking me. And that's not accurate. It's, you're weighing, you're measuring, you're calibrating, you're quantifying by challenging beliefs. And that's important. Cause for a pause. Love that spelling, Chucky. The male crow follows and his wife gives him heck. I don't know what's going on there, Annie. Sounds interesting, though. Crows are amazing animals. We're talking about bird experiences. I got you. I love crows. I see them all the time out here. I always talk to them. How you guys doing? Have a good day. I think they're a smart animal, incredibly smart. So, all right, we're going to shift gears and move over to phantoms and monsters now in the cryptid corner, and we're going to dig into a little bit more of this. So, I hope you guys are ready, because Phantoms and Monsters is another one of those amazing sites that's been around for a long time. It's really been a pillar of the paranormal Fortean community forever. Lon's been at this for decades. He does research teams and cooperational research with several other groups around the nation looking into a lot of this phenomena. And you can find information about that on his site, phantomsandmonsters.com. You can find thousands of encounter stories where Lon finds them or they're directly mailed to him. And he posts them on there of people's experiences. And you can find information of Lon's published works and his own podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio, which is a YouTube channel. And he does live streams, so definitely check those out. So Chucky says, seems like wherever I go, no matter where I go, there's a woodpecker. I can't do a Woody Woodpecker laugh. If I could, I would do that right now because it would just be fitting. But falsification bias, yeah, that's another side of it. But you're right, there is that. There is that, especially in the scientific community. All right, here we go. Let's go to phantomsandmonsters.com. It's the pulse of the paranormal. Special thanks to Lon for letting us use his site and peruse some of his articles. Here we go. We're going into a Bigfoot report right off the bat. Got a couple of really great ones following this, so I don't know what we'll get to. We'll get to at least a couple of these, but we'll start with possible 9-foot tall Bigfoot encountered in Macomb County, Michigan. 9 foot is a lot of creature, and certainly not the biggest of Bigfoot reports, but I don't know if you can conceptualize 9 foot. I got 9 foot ceilings in here, and if there was something that was that big looking at me, I would be collectively pooping myself. I just can't imagine what that would be like with hands like dinner plates and strong enough to, twist me into a pretzel without, even flexing. But anyway, I hug trees just because I love how it feels. Amen. It's a very good energetic practice. It's kind of a practice of grounding, hugging trees. But anyway, not that that's what the show is about, but another thing that I learned growing up. I received a telephone call from JD, who lives in Macomb County, Michigan. He notices a massive dark figure roaming around the edge of his property. JD and his wife are returning dishes and other items that were used for a wedding reception in Detroit, Michigan on October 27th, 2018. The wedding coordinator was located in Washington Township, Michigan, in Macomb County, north of Detroit. The time was around 1 a.m. on Sunday, October 28th, when they arrived at the location. They're dropping off dishes at 1 a.m.? Jeez. JD was in the house getting ready to head home when the coordinator's schnauzer dog began to bark and scratch at the back door. The coordinator's husband let the dog out and followed it into the backyard. At about the same time, the neighbors called to ask if they could quiet their dog down. The coordinator's husband, John, was watching the dog as it continued to bark wildly as it cowered behind him. Well, John looked in the direction of the dog's attention and noticed a huge dark figure standing at the edge of the property. John stated to JD that the figure was 9 feet tall and bulky, and he noticed that the top of his head was conical or cone-shaped, though it was difficult to see much detail. Well, John slowly moved to his right, and the figure moved in the same direction. John then moved to his left, and the figure followed. John picked up the dog and began to back up towards the house, continuing to watch the figure, and it then crouched down on all fours, taking a threatening stature. John quickly turned and ran into the house. The next morning, John checked the location where the figure had been standing, and he noticed faint footprints that were twice as large as an adult man, and JD asked John if he'd taken photographs, but he had not. So the BFRO has no reports of Bigfoot in Macomb County, Michigan. The Michigan Sasquatch Project has several reports from the area. I didn't know about a Michigan Sasquatch Project, but that's awesome. And again, BFRO is a great site, but it's not the only reporting site out there. So you can't really gauge, the compendium of all activity on just the BFRO. It's just the most well-known. So you can check other reporting sites as well to find more information if you're not finding something on the BFRO. But it's a good first stop. Definitely a good first stop. So that's a great article. Again, I guess it'd be Class A because it's a sighting, although there was not a lot of detail to glean other than the approximate size and some basic physical detail, as well as how it moved and interacted or reacted to the man's presence and his motions. But it's a very benign moment. Was it there for the dog? Probably. Probably could smell that there was a little dog there and was figuring it was like going to get lunch. But John's presence out there apparently thwarted its attempt to grab a little chicken nugget. So anyway, very interesting. A schnauzer is a pretty small dog. But let's go to the next one from phantomsandmonsters.com. Did I encounter a pukwudgie? I like these reports. I got to look through Phantoms and Monsters and try to find more because I love the Proto-Pygmies stories, and I find them fascinating because this is, as old as the First Nations, the reports of the pukwudgies. I mean, as old as their histories, there's been reports of pukwudgies. So let's check this out. The eyewitness describes an unknown 3-foot-tall humanoid in their house. Oh, no. It had a menacing expression, and the feeling of terror enveloped them. What did they encounter? It's in the house? How to get there? Let's find out. I received the following accounts. Hi. Around 2010, I saw something in my house while I was up studying, and it was around 2 a.m. I had my 160-pound Roman Rottweiler sitting on the bed with me. For reference, he wasn't really scared of anything. He was well trained and always followed my commands without hesitation. He's also a very friendly dog, despite the reputation of Rottweilers being more of a loves the family but suspicious of others breed. Normally when there's a bear outside, he can tell, and he'll give me that low, quiet growl and walk to the door. I let him out and he'll chase it off. He knows not to pursue or attack it. He doesn't even react to deer in the yard because he knows they're no threat. Well, back to my studying. If I remember correctly, it was bovine anatomy that he was studying, okay, or she. I'd finished my notes and decided to change my music, and all of a sudden, he starts whimpering. He doesn't really do that unless it's something serious. Once when he got bit by a snake, and the other time was when a tornado got close. Well, I loved on him and patted him and told him to stop that whining. I guess it didn't click at that time that something might have been wrong. He jumps up suddenly, posted up, teeth showing, guttural growl, and the scruff is on end. He's staring at my bedroom door, so I look to see what it is that has him so freaked out. This thing was about 3 feet tall. It had a pointed nose and ears. The eyes were long and bloodshot looking. The pupils were way bigger than they should have been. Looking at them was like staring into a dark hole. Its hair was long and matted, really dirty looking. Its arms, hands, feet seemed longer than they should have been, and I couldn't tell exactly what it was wearing, but it looked like some kind of hooded poncho that was tattered and covered in mud. Its skin was almost an olive color, but was covered in dirt. The lips were extremely thin, I think is what they meant to say, not think, and it had a kind of smirk on its face. I couldn't even move. I just had a hold of my dog, unable to speak. I'm sitting there just staring at this thing. And then it freaking smiled at me, revealing sharp teeth. And when I say sharp teeth, I mean it looked like when a person files their teeth into points. All the while my dog is still growling like I've never heard. Well, I buried my head in my dog and didn't move for what felt like hours. In reality, 10 minutes had passed, and I guess that kid part of me came out and was doing the equivalent of hiding under the blanket so the monster can't get you. Even though I was terrified, he seemed to calm down after a while, and I looked up. This thing was gone. I grabbed him by the collar and dragged him through the house with me so I could make sure all the doors and windows were locked. My front door was wide open, and when I made it to the living room, was wide open when I made it to the living room. Okay, sorry, I misread that. I didn't sleep that night, and I didn't sleep well for a good while after that, afraid that this thing would come back. I noticed after the incident, I started waking up with my dog laying over my body like it was trying to pin me. And this lasted for weeks, but eventually stopped. He still followed me everywhere I went, though. I couldn't even close the bathroom door without him trying to get in. Just thinking about that thing still fills me with a sense of dread and terror. I've always lived alone, so it's not as if a roommate planked me, and there's no way what I saw was a human. It says planked. I think it means pranked. Excuse me. It's crazy to think that if you told others, they'd think you're crazy or think you're just telling them a spooky story. Well, I came across a story about 6 years ago that was extremely similar. After some extensive searching, I just had to figure out what it was. I've never seen anything like it, and I'd never experienced anything weird like that again. Life moved on, but I still think about that encounter. I know I wasn't asleep, and I know I'm not crazy. All of my searching just led me to things like fairy folk. I didn't even believe in that stuff. Maybe this isn't the appropriate place to post this, but I figured I ought to give it a try to see if any of you might know. Sorry about the poor structure. This is a bit of a rant. I've never really told people about this, and it has my mind buzzing. The witness sent this update. After someone suggested it was a troll, I Googled sightings in my area. A few counties over in 2008, a woman claimed to have seen something that is similar to what I saw. There's also other reports, mostly involving encountering these things on the road, but they seem to be larger in stature. I've been up all night searching, and the closest thing I came up with was the Pukwudgie. Though those seem to be native to Massachusetts, as far as I can tell. Well, no, they're pretty diversified. But anyway, after reading about them, though, one thing struck me as odd. They start fires. My house burnt down a few months after seeing this thing, and they couldn't ever identify what caused it. I almost died and was in the hospital for a few months due to scarring on my lungs. Wow. That's crazy. I didn't know that they start fires. That's a new one to me, but I guess maybe. Allegedly, Pukwudgies hate people. They didn't always used to hate people, but the First Nation story goes basically that they competed with the giants for the love of humans, and they failed pretty miserably. So, and the giants retained the love of the humans, at least the First Nations humans. And so they became jealous and enraged and decided to hate people and hate giants. And so they kind of went to war with the giants and killed the king of the giants. And I don't know, then they were distributed around the world or the nation by the giants throwing them is the legend. But anyway, very crazy. I was thinking of like some kind of imp as well. I don't think those things are discussed much, but they're kind of like the underlings of a demonic evil presence. They're known as imps. And they don't come up much at all, but what do they look like? Well, they look real like sinister creatures. And this thing sounded sinister. Plus it had clothes on, which is not uncommon for Pukwudgie, but the clothes that Pukwudgie are usually observed in is more like rudimentary clothes that they've made, or pelts or skins of things that they wear, not necessarily hoodies. So that is a different thing. A goblin, yeah, maybe a goblin. The trolls from the Nido movie, Troll Hunter, can stay away, but Brian's Froud's trolls I'd wave to. Yeah. I remember the Troll Hunter shows. Yeah, those are fun. That was Guillermo del Toro's project, Troll Hunter. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. But maybe it was a baby BEK. That's how they start out. Maybe. It's possible. Who knows? Hard to say, but there you have it. So that was the cryptids. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this whole journey. I do have more crazy stories to read you on Friday, one of which is a giant spider story that was sighted. And I don't know, from the catacombs of Issoire, Issoire. So it's giant singing spider is one that we're going to get into, as well as angel story, also from Phantoms and Monsters. I like to cover those too because we don't hear much about those. And then a skinwalker story. So we'll save those for Friday, and we'll get into those, as well as anything more I can dig up for your incredible entertainment, because that is important to me. So anyway, don't hear a ton about the little people. Yeah, we don't, unfortunately. Honestly, the thing we hear most about as far as creatures is Bigfoot. And I think that's just because a lot of people are willing to discuss that. Less so, but still prevalent, is Dogman. That's gained traction quite a bit in the number of years. But things like proto-pygmies and these small things like gnomes and fae and other creatures, white crawlers, pale crawlers, whatever they're called, which are like the rakes. That is a common, more modern terminology for it. I think that they're ghouls personally, but anyway. They come up once in a while, but they're very rare. Doesn't mean they're not out there, though. It just means that I think for people to discuss these stories, there needs to be the perceived willingness of people to hear it. And I think that things like proto-pygmies, Pukwudgies, gnomes, fae, and any of the other things are still incredibly fringe for most people. So when they see them, it's like, well, hell, who the hell am I going to tell about this? That's not a Bigfoot. I know that, but I don't know what it is. I saw it. Nobody's going to believe me. I'm just going to eat it. So I think there's a lot of that in this fields, but hopefully part of this journey that we're on is that more people are going to become familiar with these terms, familiar with these ideas and these claims, and hopefully that'll encourage more people to come forward and say, you're never going to believe what I saw, but here you go. Here's the story, and we'll hear more about it. Yeah, the big spider stories are creepy. Ooh. But anyway, that's going to be the journey for tonight, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good time. I hope you will join me again on Friday and Saturday for subsequent shows. Sheldon should be with me Friday. And Saturday, I don't know. I think it'll be just me, but I'll be here with you, hopefully. So remember, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. We do these live streams. I would love it if you come join me and be a part of the journey if you can. And if you wouldn't mind sharing these shows to your social media, please feel free to. I'd be really honored if you did. It would certainly help more people become aware that we're out here doing this show. And of course the podcast as well. So, and once again, please check out the podcast if you haven't, because it was an amazing discussion with Tommy Cooper and Jason Trost of Cryptovania. I'm going to be releasing the video version of that podcast tomorrow. I worked on it a little bit today and had an error and had to start all over. So I was like, I can't do it today. So I'm going to do it tomorrow. And so watch it. Kat Doherty, good night. I was listening. Thank you, Kat, for being out there listening. Thank you all for being here and being a part of the journey. Hello to everyone who popped in over on Rumble. Got Justin Goodearth over there, of course. Good to see you, brother. Dog Digger's over there. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Barbara Mora's over there, and I'm over there. And I don't know how many other people are over there. Let's see. There are 4 people left over there. So I might have just covered everybody that's still over there. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you, guys. Love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. Tommy, I don't need to make you look good, brother, because you're already looking good. All right, that's it for us. Take care for me. And you guys have a great rest of your night. Thank you, Truth. Appreciate it. Love, peace, and chicken grease to you, Chucky. Aussie Tiger, great to see you. Glad you came in. Shelly Montgomery, thanks for stopping in and being a part of tonight's show. That was awesome. Thanks for keeping your chat respectful and good show. Aw, well, thank you for coming in and being a part of it. Hopefully you'll continue to return. We'll be here waiting for you. But that's it for me. I'm going to go unsweatify myself because my room's pretty hot. So the studio's cooking tonight. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Everybody have a great night. We'll be here Friday. Hopefully you'll join us then. Until then, have a great downhill slide of the rest of your week. Hump day is over. On to the weekend. Good night, everybody.